Oh, this is a real ding-dong go. They've really got their hands full there.
And the Williamstown Football Club was a very central spot in those days. Of course, everybody went and watched the football. We had bigger crowds in those days, and when Williamstown played in the finals, the whole town was deserted. Everybody went to St Kilda at the Junction Oval to watch the finals, which Williamstown played in quite regularly. So there was probably a bigger following from that point of view. That Williamstown was a great club to follow and had many league champions playing for them in those days.
I missed out on national service. You had my number drawn out, and I wasn't really impressed when it didn't happen. I won't tell you what I said, but I wasn't impressed. and so I thought about it for about 10 seconds, and in the screed that I got, it said you can volunteer. So I started filling that out at home, and Mum said, "What are you doing?" So I filled it out, signed the envelope, and in those days there weren't, the nearest letterbox to us was over at the Williamstown railway station, and I had to go past the Stag's Head Hotel where my dad used to go for a drink after work. And Mum had gone in next door and borrowed the phone because we didn't have one. Unbeknownst to me, rang Dad up and told him what was happening. So anyway, I was casually walking up the street and round the corner past the Stags, and Dad said, "What do you think you're doing?" I said, "I've just come to post a letter." He said, "No, you're not." I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "No, you're not." So he took the letter off me, tore it in half. He said, "I did 39.45. I get a bit emotional because my dad recently passed. He said, I've done the duty for us." So he tore it up and I went back home. So not to be defeated, I ended up joining the commando unit that day.
In the absence of lots of photographs over 20 years, these 7 medals, of which when I got out of the Army in 85, I think I only had 3. And they had been sent to me and awarded at the time of me earning them. And that was the South Vietnam Campaign Medal for 28 days in Vietnam, the National Medal for 15 years service, of which I did 20, and the green and white one is the foreign award of the Vietnamese government, called the Vietnamese Campaign Star, the Vietnam Campaign Star.
After Kapuka, I did some training at Puckapunyal, which was great for me. It was about an hour and a half from home, so I got to go back every weekend. And then I got posted to Townsville, so that was a massive change, obviously going to North Queensland to live. So I drove up there and I obviously was training to be a full-time cargo specialist.
A few of the boys, we were supposed to go to a weekend bivouac. We didn't turn up, and we would, one night at training, I was training there, and all of a sudden I saw this military police jeep pull up. Little did I know that they were pulling up to serve me a summons, of which I had to go to court for because I missed that bivouac. And then I was sent back to Puckapunyal by the judge with about 10 other members, all footballers. We all had to meet on the train, and when I went back, there was groups of guys from Footscray Football Club, Yarraville Football Club, were all in the same boat as me. We were all issued an order to go back to Puckapunyal and finish our time there. So that photo was taken on the train going back to Puckapunyal. There was a group of around about 20 of us, I think. And we did our military training back there for another 3 months. We were told at a meeting one day that we would be trained to go to Korea and that we would be part of the Army Corps, which coordinated tank training and armoured vehicle training.
I think it was Tony Hannabury from the president of the Williamstown Football Club, approached me to come to the footy club, and I first started off as junior manager, which we had the Brendella Cup in those days. Then for a long period of time I became the manager of the bar, which was commonly known as the Bat Cave. It's just a story all of its own. It was under the existing grandstand, and it was just a room where the bar was. Players had changed down one end and the bar was up the other end. But it was a very well run bar. After the games it was always packed. It was a social hub of the club at the time.
So anyway, I called her and I said, "Oi, can I come to Williamstown?" She goes, "Why, did you get delisted?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And she goes, "All right, why do you want to come to Williamstown?" And I said, "I just want to play footy. I just want to give it my all, play the VFL. I don't care about AFL. I just want to play VFL football." I think at that time, it was better than AFL. It was such a great league. It was the best league in Australia at that point.
In the 3 years before 1958, I was always a spectator, standing there with all the mass, drinking cans with all the boys, watching the games and watching Williamstown win 3 premierships in a row. I often wondered what I'd be like to be out there. Little did I know that 2 years later I would be. Came as a great thrill to me to be picked in my first final in 1958. And then I had the pleasure of playing in a drawn game in 1958, which means we came back again the next week. I couldn't believe my luck. I thought, how good is this? So I was still playing with all the champions from those years, and it was a great honour for me.
Probably the best premiership year I can recall is Barry Round with the cup on his head, and a whole group of people, all the players in the back of Jimmy Demetrio's tyre truck, driving down the main street of Williamstown, all in the back, going up to the town hall to meet the mayor at the time.
For the 2003 grand final, they chartered a ferry boat across to Docklands, where the grand final was, and that was a great experience because we went over there expecting to win, and we had a celebratory trip back home and got off at Gem Pier. Very, very happy and very pleased with the win. And
it was really nice to work for something, because I haven't really worked for something since Kapuka. You know, you got a goal and you try your hardest, and I've never had done that since Kapuka. So I signed with Williamstown at the end of 2018 for the 2019 season, and I don't know what the hell happened, but I played pretty alright in that year, and I made friendships and relationships. I got into the leadership group, and they all got injured on me throughout the season. I think at one stage, like, I felt like I was the captain because everyone was injured. There was no one to look to, and it was just me. And then I felt like they just got sick of my voice a little bit. I'm like, I need someone else. So we were playing at Icon Park, and I was warming up, and I'm looking at girls, I'm thinking, who doesn't speak that much? And I'm like, all right, Eliza Strafford. This makes me emotional. I went up to Eliza and I go, "Oi, I need you to talk to the group before we go out." And she goes, "Me? What am I going to say?" I go, just say something, say this, say that. I want them to hear another voice. I think it's important. And now she's a captain. Now she's a captain of the Williamstown Football Club. And from that day on, her leadership and her confidence I loved it. I loved watching that. And once again, I felt a purpose. I felt a connection.
I'm a very well-aligned Western Suburbs boy these days with Williamstown. A very happy relationship with a lot of local friends through the RSL, local friends and that who I drink with all the time. It's a great club. It's got a lot of history.
What I've always thought, if there's a kid, male or female, it doesn't matter. If some of them struggle at school to get educated, they struggle at school with their education, and that is the best place for any sort of directional guidance, is to go and have a talk to a military officer or whether it be Army, Navy or Air Force. In my opinion, it's the best way to alter your pattern of life. It altered mine. And
this club isn't known to be an AFRW powerhouse club. It's known to be, oh, it's Williamstown. Like, why would you play at Williamstown? And I'm like, because it makes me happy.
Is underway. Gardner has to wait. Up goes Jolly. Hooks it down behind. Guess who? Swan down towards half forward. Bounces inside the 50. Storming up the ground.
Williamstown is a great city to live in. I mean, I love the people and I love Williamstown, and it's great to always catch up with someone that I've grown up with, the people associated with the club, something I'll never ever forget. I still go to the games at Williamstown, enjoy the lunches, see the old supporters. But Williamstown and the club mean a lot to me, and I'm hoping one day that one of my grandsons will play there, and it'd be beautiful to go back and see that happen.
He hit him right in the goal. He was upended Percy. Mel Brown is